I am the sacred maiden of the Golden Dragon clan. On the day of my coming of age, my father betrothed me to the crown prince of the Phoenix clan as his wife, while my elder sister was married to the lowest-ranked spirit rabbit. My husband knew that I possessed the divine dragon destiny, capable of laying a divine dragon egg that would help him ascend to the throne of the three realms, so he was willing to marry me and loved me deeply. However, on the day of delivery, my lowest-ranked sister actually gave birth to a radiant, multicolored egg, while I, with pure golden dragon bloodline, gave birth to a strangely colored black dragon egg. On the day the eggs hatched, a black bat emerged from mine, while a divine dragon flew out of my sister's egg. Thus, everyone accused me of being a demon's incarnation and plucked off my scales. In a fit of rage, my husband pushed the child into the fire, reducing them to ashes. Then gouged out my heart and liver and cast me into the abyss. Even my beloved elder sister, whom I had adored since childhood, mercilessly shattered my soul after I became a wisp of lingering spirit. Until death, I remained utterly perplexed. Why would I, with pure golden dragon bloodline and the destiny of a divine dragon, give birth to a black bat? When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back on the day when suitors came to propose marriage. Phoenix Crown Prince. This is our Golden Dragon clan's youngest daughter, Leah. May we know if she meets your expectations? The king sat firmly on the throne in the grand hall, smiling with a hint of anticipation in his expression. The moment I opened my eyes, the scene before me instantly became clear. I rubbed my eyes hard, filled with disbelief. As my vision gradually sharpened, I realized with shock that I had been reborn. Returning to the day of the marriage selection when the Golden Dragon clan gathered with numerous guests, our Golden Dragon clan has always possessed an innate fertility trait, a quality that has drawn countless suitors to our doorstep. Meanwhile, the Phoenix clan holds the highest status in the celestial realm. My father, the king, was determined to marry me off to their crown prince, Franklin, hoping to bring greater glory and stability to our Golden Dragon clan. No sooner had these words been spoken than Franklin turned to cast a disdainful glance at me, his eyes regarding me as if I were a worthless object. I wouldn't even glance at her. Then, he raised his hand and pointed directly at my elder sister beside me, his tone tinged with a hint of delight. However, I do quite admire her elder sister. Witnessing Franklin's disdainful attitude toward me, I immediately realized he had also been reborn. He walked leisurely past me, took my sister's hand, and the corners of his mouth lifted. "Will you marry me?" My sister's face instantly flushed red. She nodded gently and looked tenderly at the prince beside her, her eyes filled with shyness and joy. Father was deeply surprised that Franklin was willing to choose my sister, but since things had come to this, he could only clap his hands in congratulations. "Very well, since the Phoenix Crown Prince favors my eldest daughter Sophia, it is indeed her good fortune." The Phoenix Crown Prince is majestic in bearing and possesses extraordinary strength, a rare young talent in this world. For our Golden Dragon clan to form a marriage alliance with the Phoenix clan is truly a great blessing. I only hope that in the future, the Crown Prince will treat Sophia well and not let her suffer any grievances. Then, everyone turned their gaze toward me. I quickly stood up, a composed smile curling at the corners of my lips. "Since the Fire Phoenix Crown Prince is so deeply devoted to my sister, I sincerely wish you both a harmonious union that lasts 100 years, with unwavering love. Father, to be honest, I truly have no desire to marry the Fire Phoenix Crown Prince, for my heart has long belonged to another." As the words fell, I slowly raised my hand, pointing to the person seated beside Franklin. The Crown Prince of the Vermilion Bird clan was stunned at first, then turned his gaze toward me with a look of utter astonishment. The crowd erupted in gasps of shock. In my past life, from the very day I was born, the goddess of mercy had prophesied that I possessed the innate destiny of a divine dragon. Franklin learned that all the women in my family were born with the natural ability to conceive and had the potential to give birth to a divine dragon, and I possessed beauty that could topple cities and kingdoms. If I could give birth to a divine dragon, he could become the Phoenix King, not only ruling his subjects but also dominating the three realms. Thus, he chose me without hesitation. After marriage, he was deeply affectionate toward me and showered me with love and favor. However, once I bore his child, his heart changed. After 10 months of pregnancy, I actually gave birth to a strange black dragon egg. Meanwhile, my sister, who is of a lower rank than me, gave birth to a radiant, multicolored egg. Everyone mocked me. Who would have thought the saintess of the Golden Dragon clan, blessed with the divine dragon destiny, could lay such an ugly egg? It seems her divine dragon destiny isn't all that impressive. Poor Phoenix Prince, marrying this holy maiden who can't bear a divine dragon. He'll probably never become the Phoenix King in this lifetime. I had always believed that despite laying an unusual black dragon egg, my destiny as a divine dragon meant I would ultimately be the one to hatch a true dragon. But on the day of hatching, what emerged from my egg was a pitch-black giant bat, while my less talented sister gave birth to a radiant divine dragon shimmering with 7-colored light. Thus, everyone denounced me as a fraud, a demon. Even my beloved husband Franklin refused to believe me. He heard that a golden dragon giving birth to a black bat was an ominous sign, one that would bring misfortune to the clan. So he immediately lit a great fire and mercilessly threw the child into the flames. Then he trapped me, forcing me to watch helplessly as my child was slowly burned to ashes before my eyes. No matter how desperately I screamed and wept, Franklin showed not an ounce of mercy. Then, he raised his blade and plunged it fiercely into my chest. You vile woman, giving birth to such an ill omen, keeping it would only bring disaster. I should have married your sister instead. You wretched woman, go die. I screamed in agony as he brutally tore open my chest with his bare hands and ripped out my heart and liver. Overwhelmed with unbearable pain, I knelt and begged for my life, but he was already consumed by bloodlust. Without mercy, he pushed me off the cliff to the depths below. To my utter disbelief, my beloved elder sister, whom I had adored since childhood, chose to cast a spell to disperse my soul when I was reduced to a mere wisp of remnant spirit, seeking to condemn me to eternal damnation. Until my dying breath, I remained deeply perplexed. Why did I, with my pure golden dragon bloodline and divine dragon destiny, give birth to such an egg? Given a second chance at life, I am determined to uncover the truth, birth a divine dragon, and clear my name. Recalling the past, my heart swells with indignation, but I quickly compose myself and approach Prince Chandler of the Vermilion Bird with a radiant smile. I took his hand and declared to the crowd, "That's right, this Phoenix Crown Prince is the one I love, and I am willing to marry him." As soon as the words fell, the crowd erupted in murmurs. What's wrong with the Golden Dragon Saintess? She actually chose the Phoenix Crown Prince. The Phoenix clan's status is so low, how can he be worthy of the Saintess? This is truly unexpected. The Holy Maiden has always been noble, and while the Phoenix Prince has some charm, the disparity in status is simply too great. Could it be that the Holy Maiden has been bewitched, with so many noble suitors to choose from? Why would she pick the Phoenix Prince? Father Emperor's expression darkened slightly. To him and the others, the Phoenix Prince was indeed unworthy of me. Although the Phoenix clan shared a bloodline with the Fire Phoenix clan 3,000 years ago, their status could never compare to that of the Fire Phoenix clan. In the entire celestial realm, the Vermilion Bird clan's status is even lower than that of the Spirit Bird clan. But I clearly remember ancient texts recording that a woman with the destiny of a divine dragon, once united with the Vermilion Bird clan, would inevitably give birth to a rare divine dragon unparalleled in the world. Thus, I was determined to marry the Vermilion Bird Crown Prince. My father, who had always doted on me, saw my unyielding resolve and, with no other choice, reluctantly agreed to this marriage. Franklin sneered at me upon seeing this. You'd actually fancy him? Well, I suppose you two do make a perfect match. Hearing this, Chandler immediately stood up, smiling as he firmly grasped my hand. To earn the favor of the Golden Dragon Maiden is both an honor for me, the Vermilion Bird Crown Prince, and a glory for our entire clan. I vow to marry the Golden Dragon Saintess and love her alone for all my life. Hearing this, the crowd burst into applause and blessings. Franklin, seeing the unexpected reaction from everyone, lowered his head with displeasure. Meanwhile, my elder sister Sophia cast a disdainful glance at me. "Oh, congratulations, little sister. It seems the Vermilion Bird Prince truly has feelings for you." Watching my sister Sophia's mocking expression and recalling how she shattered my soul in my past life, a wave of intense suspicion surged within me. In my previous life, I failed to give birth to the divine dragon. Now that I think about it, she must have been the one scheming behind the scenes. I slightly raised my chin and shot her a disdainful glance. "Thank you for your kind words, sister. I believe in the sincerity of the Phoenix Prince towards me. In the future, I will strive to give birth to a divine dragon and help him become the ruler of the 3 realms. As for you, sister, you can continue living your peaceful life with the Fire Phoenix Prince." After these words, Sophia was left speechless with anger. The selection ceremony ended, and surprisingly, Sophia walked towards me with a bright smile. Seeing her uncharacteristic behavior, I couldn't help but wonder, was she plotting something? but upon careful consideration, she probably never dreamed that someone less beautiful than me would be chosen by the unattainable Phoenix Crown Prince. Marrying the Crown Prince of the Phoenix clan is the dream of countless young women, and now that she has gotten her wish, she is naturally overjoyed. She slowly approached me, looking at me with a smug expression. "Don't be sad, little sister. I know you never really liked the Vermilion Bird Crown Prince, but who can help it when the Phoenix Prince only likes me? Ah, matters of the heart cannot be forced. From now on, little sister should live happily with the Prince of the Sparrow clan and strive to bear a divine dragon child. But given how frail you are, I doubt you could ever produce a dragon." I stood up and gave her a cold smile. "Thank you for your blessings. Elder sister, you should take care of your health too, lest you fail to conceive and get rejected by the prince." My sister's face instantly turned extremely ugly, glaring at me fiercely. A moment later, she forced a smile again. "Little sister, don't be too upset. Although our family has a fertile constitution, the Vermilion Bird Crown Prince's status is so lowly. Even if you marry him, you might not be able to give birth to a divine dragon. I think, when the time comes, it should be you who gets the marriage annulled." With that, she glared at me angrily before turning to leave. Indeed, she cared deeply about whether she could bear the offspring of a divine dragon. After all, if she gave birth to a divine dragon, she would become the Phoenix Empress, revered by all clans, whereas if I were to bear a divine dragon, it would inevitably steal her thunder. But she was never a member of the Golden Dragon clan to begin with, just a lowly little snake. If I hadn't saved her on Mount H 1,000 years ago, she would have perished long ago. Yet in her previous life, she heartlessly left me to die. I truly couldn't understand how she, without pure golden dragon blood or a divine dragon's fate, managed to steal my divine dragon egg. And why did the child I bore ultimately turn into a black bat? In this life, I must be cautious and never let the tragedy of my past life repeat itself. Not long after marriage, I became pregnant, just like in my past life, and my sister Sophia also conceived on the same day as me. Gazing at my swollen belly, I fell into deep thought. How can I protect the dragon treasure in my womb this time? Recalling my past life, different maidservants brought me prenatal medicine every day. Perhaps they were the problem all along. I immediately dismissed all the maids, keeping only Kathy, who had grown up with me since childhood, to attend to me. In my previous life, I took pregnancy-nourishing medicine daily, but in this life, I refused to drink it and ordered everyone not to prepare it for me. As for the method of nurturing the pregnancy, I had long planned it. On a rainy night, I went alone to Mount H to ask the elder for a jade fragrance pregnancy-nourishing pill. This medicine is extraordinary. Ancient texts record that it not only protects the fetus but can also greatly enhance the spiritual power of both me and the unborn child. Not only did I obtain the fetal protecting powder, but the elder of Mount H also gifted me a clairvoyance pill. Once I take this pill, I will possess the unique ability to see through the dragon fetus until the child is born. After completing these preparations, I felt somewhat reassured, yet still uneasy, fearing she might secretly use dark arts to replace my child. It is said that if a pregnant woman cuts out her heart's blood and drinks it, the fetus in her womb will share a stronger blood bond with the mother. At that time, even if someone attempts to use magic to swap the child, it would be absolutely impossible. Thus, I endured the pain daily, cutting out my heart's blood to nourish the fetus. Months later, the dragon baby in my womb had already taken form. I swallowed the clairvoyance pill and cast the clairvoyance spell. Through the vision, I saw the dragon egg inside my body emitting a radiant 7-colored glow. Undoubtedly, this was a divine dragon. "Sophia, in this lifetime, I will surely give birth to a divine dragon. Just wait for Franklin to abandon you." Finally, after 6 months of arduous pregnancy, the day of delivery arrived. During labor, I silently prayed in my heart, determined to lay a divine dragon egg. An hour later, accompanied by a thunderous roar, I successfully gave birth to a radiant, multicolored egg. But my sister gave birth to a black egg. This time, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. "Sophia, let's see how you can surpass me this time." I carefully cradled the egg as I stepped out of the birthing chamber, only to find Sophia waiting at the entrance for quite some time. Sophia's face was livid as she glared at me. Leah, don't celebrate too soon. This is just a temporary victory. Who will have the last laugh remains to be seen." The corners of my lips curled slightly upward as I cast a disdainful glance her way. "Sophia, look at your black egg, and then at my rainbow-glowing egg. The winner is already clear. What makes you think you can compete with me?" Sophia clenched her fists tightly, filled with resentment, and said, You just got lucky, that's all. Maybe my child will have greater opportunities in the future, I sneered coldly. Fortune, with this pitch-black egg, don't delude yourself. With that, I resolutely turned and walked away, paying her no further heed, leaving her alone, trembling with rage where she stood. Sophia, in our past life you stole my divine dragon egg. This lifetime I've been so careful, let's see how you'll manage to take it from me now. In our previous life, on the day of birth, I laid a black egg while my sister produced one shimmering with 7-colored radiance. Though everyone was filled with doubt, they all sided with my sister. Franklin immediately branded me a fraud and beat me until I was covered in wounds, and my so-called beloved sister, seeing me injured yet remaining indifferent, even fanning the flames by claiming I must have had an affair to give birth to a black egg. At that time, I desperately pleaded with Franklin, declaring that I was destined to bear a divine dragon and could not possibly fail to do so, begging him to wait until the dragon egg hatched before making any judgments. Only then did he reluctantly spare me. Recalling the humiliation of my past life, my eyes instantly reddened. In this life, during the incubation of the divine dragon egg, I dared not show the slightest negligence. Every morning, I personally inspect the phoenix egg, meticulously observing every minute detail of it. Although in this life I married the vermilion bird crown prince, and he is indeed sincere to me, I still feel deeply uneasy. Therefore, I deliberately moved the egg from the incubation chamber to my bedroom, assigning my only maidservant to guard the divine dragon egg with me day and night, constantly monitoring its changes. I even further strengthened the palace's security, filling every corner inside and out with guards. Only then did I feel slightly at ease. Sophia, with my palace's defenses now so tight that not even a fly could get in, let's see how you can still swap my divine dragon egg. After a heavy snowfall, the day finally arrived for the dragon egg to hatch. The hatching of a dragon egg is a major event in the celestial realm. All the denizens of the celestial realm hurried to the grand hall. On this day, dressed in my most magnificent robe, I carefully cradled the radiant, multicolored egg on the table and walked into the heavenly hall. At this moment, the hall was packed to capacity, with all the immortals eagerly anticipating the birth of the divine dragon today. As I walked through the hall and took my seat, Sophia beside me cast a disdainful glance my way. Oh, little sister, you actually went out of your way to wear a golden robe today. Do you really think you'll give birth to a divine dragon? I raised my eyes to her, the corners of my lips curling slightly into a faint smile. Sister, you really know how to joke. The egg I laid is a radiant 7-colored one, so of course I'm absolutely certain it will hatch a divine dragon. Unlike you, holding that pitch-black egg, who knows what kind of monstrosity will come out of it. Is that so? Then let me congratulate you first, little sister. Thank you for your concern, sister. With those words, I shot her a glare and turned away, refusing to look at her again. Today's hatching ceremony, I will be the victor. An hour later, the dragon egg finally reached its moment of hatching. At this moment, a tense atmosphere filled the grand hall as everyone held their breath, waiting for the phoenix egg to hatch. Suddenly, a crisp cracking sound was heard, and my golden phoenix egg was the first to break open. As the crowd gathered around, I raised the corners of my mouth in delight, eagerly anticipating the appearance of a mighty divine dragon before everyone. Yet the next second, what emerged from the shell was actually a pitch-black, enormous bat. My smile instantly froze, my face filled with terror. Impossible, how could this be? This definitely isn't my original child. The next second, as a multicolored glow suddenly appeared, a radiant 7-colored divine dragon emerged from Sophia's pitch-black egg. The divine dragon had shimmering 7-colored scales. Exuding an overwhelming aura, the divine dragon descended, and everyone knelt in worship, their words filled with praise for my sister. Lady Sophia is truly remarkable, giving birth to a divine dragon. This is truly a blessing for the celestial realm. This is a real divine dragon. In comparison, what on earth was that black bat? How could the golden dragon maiden give birth to such a thing? That golden dragon maiden actually gave birth to a black bat. Could it be that this multicolored radiant egg was a fake she used to deceive everyone? The sound of curses filled the air, the same as in my past life, each word like a sharp blade piercing my heart. I didn't lie to everyone. This egg was indeed hatched by me personally, just like in my past life. No matter how much I explained, no one was willing to believe me. I collapsed to the ground, my body limp, unable to stop my tears. I don't understand why this life still ends up like this. Even though I've been so careful and cautious, why does fate still play such tricks on me? At this moment, my husband Chandler rushes over and embraces me. Leah, don't be sad, I held on to him tightly. "Chandler, do you believe me? I'm really not a demon, and I'm not a fraud either. I believe you. You're a dragon yourself. There's no way you could have given birth to a bat. Someone must be scheming behind the scenes this time." As soon as the words fell, I saw the crowd raising their swords and charging toward us. Despite my father and mother's desperate attempts to stop them, they couldn't hold them back. I looked up and saw that it was Sophia and Franklin who were fanning the flames. "It's them, they're demons, especially Leah. She's definitely a bat demon hiding in the heavenly realm. Everyone, kill her now before she brings disaster to the heavenly realm." Before I could react, a powerful magical barrier struck me, sending me flying instantly. Leah, Chandler quickly ran in front of me, blocking the attack. "Leah, take the child and run now. I'll handle this here. Go." Seeing this scene, my eyes instantly welled up with tears. Without bothering to wipe the blood from my mouth, I quickly got up and, amidst the chaos, fled the palace with the child in my arms. "Sophia, Franklin. I will return. In this life, I will not admit defeat, never." I fled with the child for 3 days and 3 nights, finally arriving at a secluded paradise. The scenery here was picturesque, with birds singing and flowers blooming, yet I had no heart to appreciate it at all. I knelt on the ground, tears flowing uncontrollably like a breached dam. I truly couldn't understand. I had been so careful and cautious during the pregnancy. After laying the dragon egg, I kept it by my side at all times. I swallowed the Heavenly Eye pill and activated the Heavenly Eye technique. Through my vision, I saw the dragon egg inside my body emitting a dazzling 7-colored radiance. Without a doubt, this was a divine dragon. Looking at the bat in my arms, I quickly wiped away my tears. I couldn't just sit and wait for death. I had to uncover the truth as soon as possible to clear my name. To better protect the child, I reached out, attempting to use magic to shield him. However, the moment my spell touched the child, a powerful force suddenly pushed me away. "What's going on? Why can't I infuse my magic?" After much deliberation, I recalled that this was a rejection reaction, yet this only deepened my doubts. Under normal circumstances, there should be a natural bloodline connection between me and my child, and the magic enhancement should flow smoothly without any hindrance. How could it be impossible to cast the spell, unless, this child isn't mine at all? Suddenly remembering something, I flew frantically to the underworld in search of the truth. Arriving in the underworld, the place was covered with red spider lilies everywhere. I casually plucked one and immediately saw the guidance written on it: "To uncover the truth, proceed to the underworld library." Could this be a divine revelation given to me by fate? But reaching the library of the underworld was no easy task. The realms of heaven and the underworld were inherently incompatible, and the slightest misstep could result in being thrown into the abyssal pool by demons and devoured completely. So, in a flash of inspiration, I transformed into a black bat and stealthily infiltrated the library of the underworld. The air here was thick with noxious miasma, choking me to the point of near suffocation. Fortunately, our Golden Dragon clan possessed innate formidable magic, allowing us to withstand these deadly fumes. All around, ancient tomes that had endured for thousands of years lined the shelves, yet the light before me was extremely dim, and to prevent my identity from being exposed by the demons, I had no choice but to search carefully through the library bit by bit. Finally, after 3 days and nights of arduous searching, I finally found records about bats. Only then did I fully understand that the bat that had hatched was not my child, for only non-biological offspring would trigger such magical rejection. At this thought, I couldn't help but burst into laughter. "Sophia, I never imagined you could be so cruel. It was indeed you who swapped my child. Now that I've finally uncovered the truth, I will surely expose your true nature." Stepping out of the underworld, I saw that pitch-black bat before me, and I could hardly resist the urge to strangle it on the spot. Yet, I couldn't do it. I had to preserve the evidence to reveal Sophia's secret to everyone. I quietly returned to the celestial realm, intending to present the evidence I had found to my parents and Chandler, but when I arrived in the heavenly realm, the sight before me instantly made me collapse to the ground. At this moment, the heavenly realm was bathed in blood, transformed into a scene of utter devastation. The palace gates had been shattered to pieces, celestial soldiers and generals lay severely wounded or dead, with countless corpses strewn haphazardly across the ground. With trembling steps, I approached the grand hall, only to find my father and mother lying lifeless on the floor. "Father, mother," I rushed over, calling out with desperation and urgency in my voice, but no matter how loudly I shouted, they remained unresponsive. When I tremblingly reached out to check their breathing, I was devastated to find they had already stopped breathing. At this moment, I collapsed to the ground, breaking down in tears. Suddenly, a familiar voice sounded beside my ear. "Leah, you're here." I immediately stopped crying. It was Chandler, my husband Chandler. At this moment, Chandler stepped out from behind me, covered in blood, his lips trembling as he spoke to me. "Leah, the day after you left, I fought them alone, but their magic was too powerful, even other immortals joined in, and I was no match for them. Sophia and Franklin won't stop until they capture you. Combined with the rumors they spread, everyone now believes you're a demon, so." She rallied other clans and massacred the entire Golden Dragon clan. Even, Chandler stammered, unwilling to continue. I quickly hugged him. What happened in the end?" Chandler looked at me with reddened eyes. "In the end, even our Vermilion Bird clan couldn't escape. My parents and all my siblings were slaughtered one by them. I just escaped quickly and managed to avoid disaster." Seeing Chandler suffer so much because he married me, I quickly hugged him in tears. "Chandler, I'm sorry, I didn't know things would turn out like this. It's okay, it's not your fault, as long as you're safe, that's what matters. I believe you're not a demon." As the words fell, a terrifying laughter suddenly echoed around our ears. "Leah, you've finally returned." Looking up, two mysterious black figures flashed before us, none other than Sophia and Franklin. At this moment, Sophia revealed her true form, transforming into a massive black serpent that lunged at us. Franklin transformed into a fiery phoenix, flapping his massive wings in an attempt to blast us away. Leah, prepare to die. I heard from Franklin that you were reborn in this life, so don't blame me for being ruthless. In this life, I won't let you succeed. No one will ever learn the truth." As the words fell, a powerful barrier surged forward, instantly sending us flying over 10 meters away. Before we could counterattack, black miasma suddenly appeared all around us, choking us and making it impossible to breathe. This miasma feels all too familiar. Isn't it something only found in the underworld? Why would it appear in the celestial realm? The situation was urgent, and I couldn't afford to dwell on it. I immediately exhausted all my lifelong spiritual power to forge a massive barrier to resist it. Seeing Chandler beside me, who was critically injured and on the verge of death, I had to defeat them quickly and take him away. Gritting my teeth, I poured out my spiritual energy with all my might. In an instant, the spiritual power in my hands surged continuously, reinforcing the barrier and resisting the erosion of the black miasma. Chandler looked at me weakly, his eyes filled with concern. "Leah, don't worry about me, you need to go." I shook my head, tears welling up in my eyes. "No, I won't leave you behind, we'll face this together." Sophia and Franklin, seeing us struggling to hold on, became even more unrestrained and intensified their attacks. The black giant serpent and the fire phoenix continuously slammed against the barrier, each impact sending a shock through my heart. I knew this couldn't go on. I had to find their weakness to have any chance of survival. I closed my eyes, trying hard to recall memories from my past life, attempting to find any flaws about Sophia and Franklin. Suddenly, an image flashed through my mind. In my past life, Sophia had once been injured by a special spiritual energy during a conflict with other clan members, and that energy seemed to have a strong restraining effect on her. A surge of joy rose in my heart, and I began attempting to summon that special spiritual energy. After much effort, I finally succeeded in awakening that mysterious power. I opened my eyes, and a brilliant light erupted from my hands, shooting straight towards Sophia. The giant black serpent writhed in agony as the light struck it. Sophia let out a piercing scream and reverted to her human form. Franklin was furious when he saw Sophia injured. She lunged at me wildly, flames blazing fiercely. Without fear, I raised my spiritual energy shield to confront him. During the intense battle, my stamina gradually waned. But I had only one belief in my heart, and that was to protect Chandler and defeat Sophia and Franklin. I gritted my teeth and kept going. Just as I was about to collapse, Chandler suddenly struggled to his feet. With the last of his strength, he unleashed the innate flames of the Vermilion Bird clan, merging them with my spiritual energy. A powerful force erupted instantly, sending Franklin flying backward. Seeing the situation turn unfavorable, Sophia and Franklin attempted to flee. How could I let them succeed? I leaped into the air and gave chase, yet, it was at this moment that I realized with shock, we had fallen into a trap. All around, deities from various clans had already surrounded us. If the fight continued, there would be no way out but death. I quickly helped Chandler up, releasing a wisp of green smoke as I shouted to the heavens, "Sophia, I never imagined you could be so ruthless." sparing neither father nor mother, and now seeking my life as well. Just you wait. I will make you pay in blood." To hide more securely, we made our way to the former dwelling of the sea dragon. Legend has it that 5,000 years ago, the dragon clan engaged in a fierce battle with the demon realm, yet, just when victory seemed certain, the dragons were suddenly engulfed in flames and reduced to ashes due to the demon lord's secret schemes. From that moment on, the dragon clan vanished without a trace from this world. Now, the seabed of what was once the dragon's domain lies in ruins. However, escaping here is relatively safer for us at the moment. After setting Chandler down, I immediately began channeling spiritual energy into him. In this life, he suffered because he married me. No matter what, I must save him. I continuously poured spiritual energy into Chandler's body, watching his pale face with a heart full of guilt and pain. After a moment, Chandler slightly opened his eyes and looked at me weakly. "Leah, don't waste your effort. My injuries are too severe." "No, you will definitely recover. We've been through so much. We won't be defeated so easily." While taking care of Chandler, I remained vigilant of the surroundings. I don't know how long we can hide here, but as long as there's a glimmer of hope, I won't give up. As the days passed, Chandler's injuries gradually stabilized, but he remained very weak. I began searching the ocean floor for spiritual herbs that might help Chandler recover. In a hidden corner, I discovered a sea spirit herb emitting a strange glow. It is said that this sea spirit grass possesses powerful healing properties. I carefully harvested the sea spirit grass and returned to Chandler's side. I crushed the sea spirit grass, mixed it into spiritual water, and had Chandler drink it. Gradually, Chandler's complexion began to improve, and he regained some strength. He looked at my weary face. His eyes filled with emotion. "Leah, you've worked hard. Once I recover, we'll go find Sophia for revenge together." I held his hand and nestled against his shoulder. "Good, we'll definitely make them pay." As he finished speaking, Chandler actually began vomiting blood. I couldn't understand why he, who had seemed on the verge of recovery, had suddenly deteriorated to this state in an instant. I continuously channeled spiritual energy into him, but the next moment, I discovered a circular mark on the back of his neck. Upon closer inspection, I was instantly so terrified that I collapsed to the ground. That wasn't an ordinary mark, but a poison. Chandler was poisoned with poison. No wonder I couldn't cure him no matter what. Sophia and Franklin were truly ruthless. They had secretly inflicted poison on Chandler. Before I could even tell Chandler about this, he had already collapsed weakly into my arms. In his final moments, his lips trembling, he tightly grasped my hand. "Leah, being able to marry you in this lifetime is the happiest thing for me. Do you know, on the day of our blind date, when you pointed at me, my heart was filled with joy. It's just a pity that in this life, I have to go first. You must live well for me." With these words, Chandler closed his eyes forever in my arms. In an instant, I felt as if my heart was being torn apart. "No, Chandler, don't leave me." I don't know how long it took, but I passed out. In my dream, I witnessed the fierce battle between the dragon and the demon realm. In an instant, the Dragon King flew to me and took me into his arms. "Child, only by becoming stronger can you defeat them." With these words, he handed me an ancient book. Facing this Dragon King I had never met before, I felt an inexplicable familiarity, as if we had known each other for ages. Suddenly, a surge of immense power jolted me awake from the dream. At this moment, Chandler's body lay quietly in my arms. Amidst the sorrow, I noticed an ancient book had mysteriously appeared in my hands. Picking it up, I was instantly struck with horror. This ancient book was the very same one the Dragon King had given me in my dream moments ago. I hurriedly flipped through the ancient texts. The following content left me utterly shocked. It turned out that besides being the saintess of the Golden Dragon clan, I was also a descendant of the Flood Dragon. My ancestors had managed to escape during that war over 5,000 years ago and married into the Golden Dragon clan, thus giving rise to our lineage. And now, I've been pondering the words the Dragon King said to me in my dream. Suddenly, a figure flashed before my eyes. Chandler. I reached out happily, trying to grasp him, but at this moment, he had already turned into a wisp of a remnant soul. I stared blankly at Chandler's remnant soul, my eyes gradually moistening. "Leah, don't be sad. We still have a chance." Chandler's voice drifted over faintly. My heart stirred as if I had suddenly understood something. I tightly gripped the ancient tome in my hands. Following the records in the ancient text, I began attempting to channel the dragon serpent power within my body. At the same time, Chandler's lingering soul emitted a faint glow, resonating with my spiritual energy. Gradually, Our spiritual energies started to merge together, a powerful force surged between us. As if ready to break through all restraints, I closed my eyes, focused my mind, and guided this energy to flow within my body. As the spiritual energies continuously merged, our souls gradually drew closer. Finally, in a dazzling burst of light, we succeeded. Sophia, Franklin, tomorrow will be your last day. The next day was the coronation ceremony for Franklin and Sophia. Early in the morning, the grand hall was filled with deities from various clans. Sophia, dressed in a magnificent golden robe, walked into the hall with her head held high, her face brimming with pride. The crowd immediately knelt in worship upon seeing this. Their faces were filled with awe and flattery as they continuously praised her. Congratulations, Empress Fire Phoenix. We are truly blessed to have you as our Empress. It is the fortune of our celestial realm. Empress Fire Phoenix's grace is unparalleled, with you presiding over us. The three realms will surely flourish and prosper, Phoenix Queen. With your and the Phoenix King's guidance, the celestial realm will become even more glorious. The waves of praise echoed through the grand hall, and as Sophia listened to these compliments, the corners of her lips curled slightly, revealing a hint of a smug smile. Meanwhile, Franklin sat solemnly on the throne of the grand hall, extending his hand, quietly awaiting her ascent to the seat of the Phoenix Queen. Sophia swayed gracefully, step by step, slowly ascending the grand hall. But in an instant, the skies suddenly turned as dark as night. Lightning split the sky, its roar echoing through the heavens. Just as the crowd was bewildered, an enormous dragon with phoenix-like tail feathers and twin dragon heads fused into one appeared before them. In that moment, the terrified crowd scattered in all directions. Monster, everyone run for your lives. What kind of creature is this? I've never seen anything so terrifying. Run, quickly, this monster's aura is horrifying. It feels like it could devour us all. Seeing everyone so afraid of me, I laughed even more wildly. On the day I obtained the ancient dragon scripture, it was recorded that by merging spiritual power with a loved one, one could transform into the divine soul twins, possessing the most powerful spiritual energy in the world. Thus, I combined my soul with Chandler's, and finally became the divine soul twins with phoenix tails and serpent bodies. At this moment, with a single roar from me, the entire palace instantly turned to ruins. Franklin and Sophia stood dumbfounded outside the hall, staring at me. Before I could speak, they cast provocative glances in my direction. Well, who do we have here, if it isn't my dear little sister? My, how you've changed. What a ghastly sight you've become after just a few days apart. Your husband must have died horribly, didn't he, that day? Before she could finish speaking, I swung my tail and sent her flying over 10 meters away, causing her to immediately spit out blood. Only then did they realize how formidable I was. I swiftly extended my dragon claw and grabbed Sophia by the neck. Speak, in this lifetime, I've been so careful. How exactly did you manage to swap my divine dragon? Sophia immediately knelt down, crying and begging me. I beg you, please don't kill me. It turned out that from the moment I saved her 1,000 years ago, she had been plotting to become the ruler of the three realms. In her previous life, she was betrothed to the spirit rabbit, but she had always resented it. Thus, she colluded with the demon realm, using its most ancient dark arts to swap the divine dragon with a bat's soul the moment the egg hatched. That's why I couldn't detect it. But in this life, under Franklin's scheme, she employed even more ruthless methods. Not only did she ally with the demon realm, but she also planted a curse within me. It's just that I was born with the divine dragon destiny, so the poison couldn't harm me. Instead, it was my husband Chandler who was killed by their venom. After learning the truth, I grew even more furious. I never imagined she could be so ruthless. This time, she even killed my parents and my clan. Even Chandler's Vermilion Bird clan was slaughtered by her to the last. If only I had known, I should never have saved her back then. Before she could react, I swiftly extended my dragon claws and ruthlessly tore out her heart and liver. With a piercing scream, I lifted her up and slammed her down, repeating this 800 times over, until she was reduced to a pulpy mess before me. Yet how could this ever quell the hatred in my heart? In my previous life, she used magic to scatter my soul to the winds. In this life, I will not let her off lightly. Sophia, die. I told you I'd make you pay in blood. As the words left my lips, I swiftly cast a spell, erecting a massive barrier to trap her fragmented soul within. No, please, I beg you. With a loud bang and a piercing scream, Sophia's soul instantly turned into a mist of blood, dispersing in the air. Then, I turned to look at Franklin behind me. At this moment, he was so terrified that he wet his pants. I swiftly extended my dragon claw and grabbed him by the neck. In our past life as husband and wife, I never imagined you could be so ruthless. No matter how I explained, you refused to believe me and even sought my death. What a cruel heart you have, and in this life, you've gone even further, conspiring with Sophia to kill my father and mother, not even sparing my husband in this lifetime. Now, I will make you pay in blood, before he could even beg for mercy. I tore him apart piece by piece with my dragon claws. Franklin, you've caused me such agony across 2 lifetimes. Did you think I'd let you die easily in this one? After 3 days and 3 nights, Franklin gradually died amidst the pain of having his flesh sliced off piece by piece. By now, he had been reduced to a mere skeleton. I then threw this skeleton into the mortal realm to be devoured by dogs, and then, I laughed wildly. The grudges of my past life are finally avenged in this one, Father. Mother, Leah has finally avenged you. Suddenly, I remembered something else. No, I can't let go of those who once insulted me either. As the words fell, my divine dragon suddenly let out a furious roar. In an instant, all those who had insulted me fell to the ground, bleeding to death. I smiled and picked up my divine dragon. Good, I never expected my precious one to help Mommy take revenge. After the deaths of Franklin and Sophia, the heavenly realm finally returned to peace. The palace, once ravaged by powerful spells, was gradually restored to its former magnificent glory through the joint efforts of the gods, and I successfully ascended to the supreme throne, beginning my rule over all 3 realms. After enduring the storms of 2 lifetimes, I finally became the revered mother of the divine dragon. At this moment, I stand quietly atop the clouds, gazing down upon this peaceful and serene scene, my heart filled with endless emotions. Though Chandler has departed, the remnants of his soul remain by my side like a constant shadow, yet I know deep down that one day he will be reincarnated. The more beautiful this fleeting companionship is, the more it fills my heart with reluctance and attachment. One day, I resolutely made a decision to solemnly entrust the entire 3 realms to the rule of my child, the divine dragon. Now, my child, the divine dragon, looks exactly like Chandler did in his lifetime, gazing at his majestic, upright posture and wise, profound eyes. I firmly believe he is destined to shoulder the great responsibility of protecting this world. At the moment of transferring power, my child solemnly promised me with a dignified expression, Mother, rest assured, I will devote all my strength to safeguarding the peace and tranquility of the 3 realms. I gently caressed the divine dragon's face, and in a daze, it seemed as if I saw Chandler's shadow again. My heart filled with both comfort and emotion. After arranging everything properly, I flew toward the Nether Palace without hesitation. In this lifetime, the truth has been uncovered, and the great vengeance has been fulfilled. All the past suffering and hardships have now become fleeting clouds. Chandler's passing has become the regret of my lifetime. Life without him is simply too long. Thus, I resolutely decided to be reincarnated with him, in our next life. I only wish for us to become an ordinary couple. Stay away from the chaos of the 3 realms, free from the sorrow of life and death. All I ask is to walk hand in hand, sharing every season together. That is enough. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.